And we're back with segment 6. And this evening, we're going to talk for a few minutes about sanctuary cities, which is a troublesome subject. Republicans are going after it. The GOP is going after sanctuary cities, and theoretically, they have control of Congress.
Yeah, they're doing what they can, but as far as at the city and the state level, the only thing that they can really do is manipulate funds.
And it turns out the funds aren't there.
There's not that much funds.
Yeah, the number some of the numbers they threw out were Los Angeles County receives 3.4 million. It's called SCAP, SCAAP, which stands for State Criminal Alien Assistance Program. SCAP this is I find really interesting. They talk about, well, they're just hardworking people who come across the border looking for a better opportunity. SCAP is specifically to help you pay for the criminals, okay? It is such a problem that they have to pay Los Angeles to incarcerate these guys to keep them quiet, I think, basically.
Well, and they have to pay them, it's sort of like reimbursing them their expenses, that they're holding on to them until the feds can come pick them up.
Exactly, which happens in June of 2095.
Right. I mean, it does make sense though, because it is different levels of government. So in a way, it makes sense. But it's like 1/10 of 1% of their budget.
Well, I mean, that's it. They get $3.4 million, which sounds like a lot of money, but that's it. That's in a budget of $3.08 billion.
Yeah.
So you're looking at less than 1%.
Yeah, 1/10 of 1%.
Yeah, that's not exactly a big motivation.
No, it doesn't do much in the way of arm twisting.
No, and this is an ideological issue.
It really is.
I wanted to have a list of sanctuary cities in the United States. That was an error on my part. I went online, and there's hundreds of them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, there's a long list. Now, they mentioned it here somewhere. It says 31. But if you go online and look it up, they got them alphabetical by state. I mean, there's hundreds of them. In our home state of Illinois, you know where, of course you do, because I told you. Illinois has 3 sanctuary cities: Chicago, well, there's a surprise, Cicero, and Evanston. That's in Illinois. But there are literally hundreds. There are 33 in California alone.
Right, California is kind of a hotbed for this.
And that's the highest.
And just, you had said you don't even know what it really is. It seems to me that it manifests itself in 2 ways. It's either cities don't allow resources, which is money and or people, to be used to enforce federal immigration laws, or they don't allow like their law enforcement personnel to inquire about immigration status. So it tends to manifest itself in one of those 2 ways. But what I said to you was, my experience of it as a state trooper was, I pulled over 2 men in a beater car. Neither one of them could produce driver's licenses. And, after they drove away, my field training officer said, they're most likely illegal immigrants. And I said, well, then why don't we call immigration to come pick them up? And he said, because they won't.
Exactly.
And so I think, a lot of places it manifests itself as it does in Arizona, where they said, okay, we're going to enforce the federal laws because the feds won't enforce the federal laws. So, that was my experience of it.
Well, I had the same thing doing truck scales for the county. I pulled over a crew cab pickup. There was stuff piled on the back of this pickup. I kid you not, it had to be 8 feet high. And it was all strapped down, right? And pulled them over, and like 6 or 8 guys just bailed, running in every direction. But I got the driver, and he was illegal, and we called it in, and immigration didn't. They said, "What do you want us to do?" Well, how about do your job? Yes. How about come and get him? Oh, no. What the hell do they do?
Right, what do they do?
What exactly does immigration do? The beginning song, the Department of Energy. What the hell is the Department of Energy?
Right. Or maybe the EPA. We don't actually fix things, we just screw things up.
They do. They're screwing us royally is what that's about. There is a Senate bill. The bill in the House would cut off those SCAP funds to any locality that didn't help the government track down illegals. But there's one in the Senate, they got to match them up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Senate bill talks about it would require states to comply with federal law, which I find a little interesting. Doesn't federal law mean you're supposed to begin with?
Well, and not only that, but didn't the federal government sue Arizona for passing a law that they were going to enforce federal law? So
wasn't that a year or two ago?
I'm super confused.
Yeah.
Like first they sue a state for saying that they're going to enforce their laws, and now they're going to make a law to say that they have to enforce the laws.
Obama
for the 49 states.
Obama backed the president of Mexico in a suit against Arizona. I think that was Arizona.
Yeah.
That's never been done before. Never in history has a president sided with another nation against one of its own states.
Yeah, the whole thing is ridiculous. It's a CF, as we like to say.
I mean, now the Senate bill will take away more money, not just that money, but also it's at Homeland Security grants.
That's the part I like. Punish people who re-enter the U.S. illegally.
Yeah, and that's part of that bill.
Except the 5 years in prison. I hope it's like a Joe Arpaio type of prison and not like an actual like.
Pink underwear outside.
Yeah, like you live in a tent out in the desert, because I really don't want my money going to incarcerate illegals.
Or at least as little as possible.
Right. I mean, I don't think that it's not a good way to punish them. We have to figure out something else.
Send them home. The problem with sending them back is they just return.
Yeah,
Right.
The guy who killed.
Can we send them to like the farthest south point, like Oaxaca or
There's
something?
It's going to be like this.
Yeah, there's a time tunnel.
Yeah.
There's a time tunnel. Yeah. The guy.
If you don't send them back to like, Ciudad Juarez or like Tijuana, it would take them longer to get back. That's all I'm saying.
You got to send them somewhere on the other side of the water. No, wait, we already got that. Anyway, the guy who killed Catherine Steinle, he had been deported 5 times.
Yes.
5 times they sent him back.
Right. So clearly that's not working.
Yeah, that system has flaws. Now,
Yeah.
the interesting thing, Donald Trump says, I'm going to build a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everyone is berating and belittling him over building a wall.
Right.
His comment, which I thought was interesting, is that's what I do for a living. I build big stuff. And I know what I'm talking about.
That's true.
And they're saying that it won't work. Excuse me, let me think. Great Wall of China.
Right.
If you can build with that technology a wall, I've been on it. I have walked on the Great Wall of China. This is a massive thing. And they did it with, how old is it? 1,000 years? I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever. Technology.
3,000 years,
Right.
Yeah.
I think we could probably build a wall.
Yeah, we could if we wanted to.
These are inmates that build it.
Right. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. And I assume that it's true. We don't have Snopes anymore to check things out. But the picture that's been circulating on Facebook of the wall between Guatemala and Mexico is quite an interesting photograph.
Yeah.
Looks like a fairly substantial wall. So apparently Mexico's sovereignty is important and to be observed, but the United States' sovereignty doesn't matter.
That's the great irony here.
Yeah.
I forget the Mexican president's name, and don't particularly worry about that, but he excoriates the United States for being racist and all this, and yet he's got his own wall.
Right.
He's got a wall on the other end.
Right.
All of these people are just duplicitous beyond all
Well,
belief.
yeah, I say it all the time. The liberals are lousy with double standards. I mean, they like invented it.
It literally is out of control.
I do like some of these ideas, though. Like, it says that in 1996 they passed a law that, or maybe they didn't pass it. They tried to pass a law, at least, that minor crimes, even such as shoplifting, could become grounds for possible deportation.
Right.
And then back in 2007, they tried to pass legislation that would make illegal immigration a felony instead of a civil offense. I like that idea, too.
It's interesting Hillary weighed in on all this. I'm so pleased to see that her numbers are like an anchor in the ocean.
Yeah.
She is tanking. You know, I said this a couple of weeks ago. She is making the comment about nobody asked me about email except you, talking about the reporters.
Mhm.
And I remember saying a couple of weeks ago, this is it, this is the one. I can feel it coming.
Yeah.
And it is. She's tanking like crazy.
Yeah.
Great to have you on board, Hillary. You like our show, tanking. But it's interesting that Hillary came out and said, I want to quote her, after Steinle was killed. She said on CNN, "I have absolutely no support for a city that ignores the strong evidence that should be acted on." And the very next day, campaign said, Hillary Clinton believes that sanctuary cities can help further public safety. And she has defended those policies going back years.
There seems to be a disconnect between
Reality.
Hillary and some of her campaign workers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's interesting you say that because she's probably totally surrounded by uber liberals.
Oh, yeah. No
And
question.
they're just preaching the dogma and assuming that she's on board.
Yeah, they're just going down the line.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I don't know.
I was also surprised to see that Jeb Bush came out against sanctuary cities because he seems to show for anything that's pro-Mexican.
That was a shocker when I read that.
Yeah, and like you said, you had to read it twice. But
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did they must have made a mistake there because everything else that he's like pro Dream Act and pro
Well, and his
and
wife is Mexican,
Mhm.
which is fine. I mean, I'm proud of that. But
Well, and
I think he has probably a support base
right.
in that community.
The ironic thing about that, well, there's two ironic things about that, because just because you're married to a Mexican doesn't mean that you have to be pro-legal immigration, pro-amnesty.
No.
Because, and this is the second part, is that the people that I know and my family knows that are here legally, Hispanics of all types, because it doesn't matter if you're not Mexican, people assume that you are Mexican if you're Hispanic. I mean, people don't necessarily know.
They don't know that there's anything Spanish
Right.
other than Mexican.
Ivan's from Guatemala, and somebody else is from Puerto Rico, and somebody
They're all
else,
Mexican,
somebody else is from Cuba. Like, unless you ask, you don't know. Or a lot of people, don't necessarily know to think about it. And but the people Hispanics who are here legally, who either their parents came legally or they came legally and they worked for it, and they took the test to become citizens and all of that stuff, they tend to be anti-amnesty. They're like,
Right.
For one thing, it reflects poorly on them because everybody lumps all Hispanics together, and they're like, I did it the right way, why don't the other people do it the right way? And so I think that it's kind of duplicitous of him, or even just weak of him to be like, oh, because I'm married to a Mexican woman, I have to be like pro everything Mexican. Like that doesn't hold water.
No, and the truth is, Donald Trump is right in that if you look at the statistics of California incarcerations, I didn't pull them for this, and I should have probably. They're overwhelmingly illegal aliens from Mexico.
Right.
Overwhelmingly.
Well, and I think that's probably a big reason for why they have so many sanctuary cities is they just can't afford. They can't afford to
Put them in jail.
enforce. Right. They financially they cannot make it work to enforce the immigration law for the federal.
Every citizen in this country has a vested interest in this, because despite what liberals want to tell you, many, if not, certainly not all, I wouldn't go that far, but a very high proportion of the people who cross that southern border are criminals.
Or become criminals.
Or become criminals, yeah. A lot of gang.
Well, they kind of are just in the sense of illegal immigration.
Well, right.
Well,
exactly.
yeah, right. They automatically are.
Well, and that's also why Republicans or conservatives in general make such a stink about the semantic thing of the Democrats want to call them undocumented workers.
Right.
No, that's sugarcoating it. That's euphemistic. They're illegal aliens or illegal workers or whatever you want to call them. Illegal is the operative word here.
What I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around is I forget which circuit, which court it was, or one of the appeals courts, one of the appellate courts, decided that illegal aliens have have constitutional rights, including Second Amendment rights. They can go and buy a gun.
Yeah, see, I don't understand why
Right.
they get constitutional rights.
So here's the theory, I guess, if we can't take everybody's gun away from them, then let's keep them busy with the one they got, and we'll give everybody a gun. This was like the comic who waited a respectful period of time after 9/11 to do the joke, like a year or so, and then he said, I know how we'll never have to worry about this again. From now on, when you board a plane, you get issued a gun walking in the front door. Everybody on the airplane's got a loaded gun.
After you
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah, and that's sort of what appears to be their theory. Everybody's gonna have a gun. Here's what I
There's
suggest.
whole new meanings to the phrase Mexican standoff.
Mexican standoff, that's right. That's exactly right. No racism there. That's an official term. It's certified. We can say that. This is the internet. We can say anything we want.
I got it from Quentin Tarantino, so it must be okay.
Must be okay. Yeah, it was on the internet too. Gotta be true. And that was a fake photo of
The Snopes
the
guy?
Snopes guy.
Thank you!
So Snopes is liberal, but he wasn't arrested. It's an older
I
picture.
can spot them. I can spot those Photoshop jobs.
You think it's because his head was 1.5 times larger than the rest of the, yeah.
Yeah, like his neck didn't even match. Yeah, I can't pick up on that.
Here's, in closing, do you have any more pithy thoughts on this subject?
No, I'm good.
You have pith?
No.
No? Okay, so here we go.
Pith and vinegar.
Here's my recommendation. Call your state rep and tell them, yes, let's look into Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
We want to have that dissected.
Support
That's just a bad choice of words.
Support the Genie Eyes bill,
That
yeah.
was a bad choice of words. I want to dissect it. That was not.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was no pun intended at all. We want a good hard look at that. Let's fund them. And then the other thing is this whole sanctuary city deal. The Senate bill, I thought there was a number, but there isn't. Anyway, it's a Senate bill co-sponsored by Senator Jeff Sessions about sanctuary cities and stopping that sort of thing. And in the House, it is sponsored by Duncan Hunter, Republican from California. Gee, he's got firsthand information, doesn't he?
Republican from California, that must be a lonely job.
He's the only Republican in
Yeah.
California. And it's a small R, it's not a capital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Call them and make your thoughts known, because neither of these things are good for this country. Planned Parenthood isn't, and certainly sanctuary cities. And that's segment 6 for this week. We'll be back next week with some new pithy, wonderful idea.
Thanks for watching.